Hello fellow modelers! In this video I'm going to build Flakpanzer 4 Wirbelwind. You probably know this machine like OP tank against infantry or other vehicles from a lot of games. The first release of this kit was by Aqua in cooperation with Revell. Therefore inside of the box is a lot of parts which are for classic Panzer 4 and we will not need them. In the kit are lovely link down tracks, which are more challenging for assembly than the rubber ones, but the result in the most cases is better. And one large sprue with a Flak 38, which is nicely detailed for 72 scale model. As usual, I want to make some minor modifications. I will start with the engine bay. I am trying to reduce plastic thickness under engine hatches. It will be easier to cut them out. And I use for this purpose razor saw. Luckily, I have for this model a resin engine with lovely details, so I do not need to make a lot of scratchable modifications this time. At least I thought. I realized that this engine set is for Panzer 3, so probably I can use from the whole set this part, which is classic Maybach engine. Okay then, the rest of details I am creating from plastic profiles and old resin mold runners. I use for gluing metal, plastic and resin ordinary superglue. It is a very versatile and quick solution for your models. And because it is a classic Revell Panzer 4 kit, it has a big hole from the bottom side, and we can fix this issue with a thin plastic board. I also purchased brass gun barrels from RB model. The plastic ones are fragile, thus you can easily break or bend them. I recently made a minor upgrade from my proxxon micro engraver. The only problem is that the minimal RPM is 5000, which is quite a lot, and you can melt down plastic only with the heat from friction. So drilling small parts was not conceivable. The pulse modulation from the regulator allows run engine in lower RPM. So I can control the speed something like from 200 to 4000 RPM. And if I need more, I can reconnect the connection to the original power supply. It seems that 72 scale looks relatively small, but 700 scale ships are even smaller and have insane details. So I think I can replace plastic gun sight and make a new one from copper wires. Some parts have pronounced ejectant pin marks, so I can recommend to fill them with a putty for plastic. Okay, if you thought that the radiator was horrible, then I agree with you. I removed plastic mesh and added finer from the stainless steel and frame from plastic profiles. The second radiator with fans was under the right hatch. I have some spare parts from Dragon King Tiger. Therefore I made only the base construction from plastic boards. I am removing pronounced mold line on the each wheel. I think the chassis is prepared for painting, so now it remains to modify the turret. I am removing the plastic on the edges to make them thinner. You can use for this purpose ordinary sharp blade, but be careful not to cut deep. Or for larger areas is handy metal file. The turret on the real tank was welded together from a few metal plates. I will try to imitate welds from a plastic string. You can pull out the string from a residual sprue. When the work is done, I unify the surface with a primer and smooth it with a sandpaper. The easiest way how to imitate weld texture is simply with a rough sandpaper. I found in my stash this lovely template for rescrubbing panel lines, but you can use it as a precise spraying mask for small wheels. It is much easier than painting each wheel with paintbrush. Now it only remains to paint the rest of the model. I use primarily acrylic lacquer colors, which are perfect for airbrush, and mainly it is easy to clean airbrush after work. Sometimes you can have a problem when the colors dries too fast, and thus you will achieve orange peel or dusty texture on the surface. You can try some other thinner or add a few drops of a color retarder liquid, which prolong drying time. This is a proper dilution for my airbrush. The thinning ratio is mostly only approximate. I have 0.2mm nozzle, so for this one I use at least one part of the color and one part of the thinner. If you want to paint a camouflage scheme in 72 scale, you need even more thinner. Relatively, I should be capable of painting half-millimeter lines, but it requires some practice. Therefore, test proper dilution and pressure on some old plastic board or model first. Now I am unifying the surface with a clear lacquer varnish. It will fix the color and protect it against weathering chemicals. Otherwise you can easily remove the color to the base plastic. I found a lot of pictures of original Wirbelwind, but some had demerit, so I decided for early production and with a number 036, because this one didn't have it. I am making details more pronounced with a dark wash and then remove excess wash with an enamel thinner. You can paint some artificial shading this way. If you will decide to build this kit, be careful with the Tantrax orientation. The manual has them other way around. You can check out a few photos. The link Tantrax in the 72 scale are easy if you will start from the drive wheel. I use for gluing super glue because I have already painted tracks with a gunmetal shade. Now I'm painting a lot of highlights and tiny scratches with water-based acrylic colors. I use for leaks and stains oil paints, because you can nicely blur them with a thinner, or wipe them off if you will decide that you don't like this effect too much. I applied on tracks, pigments and washes. I want to create a city diorama, so I didn't apply heavy matte, but only light dust between each link. And I'm also painting accumulated dust on the rest of the model. It will nicely make the model a little bit lighter. So, that is all. Thanks for watching and see you next time.